Welcome everybody to Pokémon WTF Moments, the show where we don't spoil the Pokémon anime until it's at least been dubbed into English. Doesn't that sound like a good idea, official Pokémon YouTube channel? Twats. Today's episode begins with Ash and friends spotting a trainer tips sign that reads,
"Beware of ghost Pokémon. Use psychic Pokémon for your protection."
Wait, psychic types for protection against ghost types? How are they gonna do that? I guess acting as meat shields? Like, come on guys, this isn't Gen 1. You know, where the only ghost types were also poison types and therefore weak to psychic. Oh no, wait, actually, if I remember rightly, Misdreavus was the only ghost type introduced in Generation 2, and that ain't in this episode. So I guess the only ghost type Pokemon left that could appear in this episode would be the Gen 1 Pokemon that are also poison types and therefore weak to psychic. Wait, there are no ghost types in this episode? What's everyone worried about then? After everybody gets spooked by Fearow flying overhead, which also aren't ghost types, Brock says he wishes they had a psychic type Pokemon with them, and Misty points out that none of them have any. Thus reminding us that Misty, like an idiot, left her only psychic type Pokemon back at Cerulean Gym, the numpty. Direct quote from Misty after the gang spot what they think is a ghost type Pokemon.
Quick, Cider! It's a ghost type! Use confusion!
I've got a better idea. Ash, mate, use your Pokedex. Seriously, any other Pokemon, even ones he's seen before, he whips the Pokedex straight out. So why not this time? The Pokedex would have told them exactly what it was. Brock says the Pokemon doesn't look like any Ghastly or Haunter he's ever seen, so maybe it's not even a ghost type. I mean, if you squint, you could mistake it for a really small Gengar. A girl turns up and says her Girafarig is definitely not a ghost type, and after Girafarig reveals the rest of itself, we get this direct quote from Ash.
Another ghost!
Ah, my knee clicked. Did you hear that?
Another ghost!
Ash, mate, are you not listening? She literally just told you that Girafarig is not a ghost. Misty asks the girl, whose name is Cherry, why she chose a Girafarig to train, and Ash asks if it's because it looks so different. Cherry says that that's partly the reason, and let me guess, is the other reason because it's part normal type? I mean, after all, if this area is full of scary ghost types, then perhaps ghost immunity is the best way to go. And before anyone mentions the glitch in Generation 1 where ghost type moves couldn't actually hit psychic type Pokemon, that had long since been fixed by the time this episode came out. As Brock looks up Cherry's hometown of Lentown in his Johto guidebook, Pikachu keeps jumping up at him as if he wants the book. But why though? Pikachu's a Pokemon, so I doubt he can read. So how come he's being such an annoying little pissbag? Answers on a postcard. Apparently Lentown has had ghost type Pokemon living in the woods around there for hundreds of years, which is why they raise psychic type Pokemon to stop them from causing trouble. So you're telling me that for hundreds of years, not one single person thought to check if they had their type matchups correct? Meanwhile, Team Rocket are listening in, and James and Meowth are musing over Girafarig's name being a palindrome. That's a word that's spelled the same backwards as it is forward for the one person that's going to ask. Now, that isn't a WTF moment, but I just want to take this opportunity to remind everybody that I refuse to call Girafarig's evolution from Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Farigiraf, even if that is the official pronunciation that was in its reveal trailer. It's a Pokemon based on a giraffe, so why is it called Farigiraf and not Farigiraf? Girafarig's not pronounced Girafarig, is it? So why is this not Farigiraf? After Wobbuffet pops out of its Pokeball and Jessie returns it to its Pokeball and complains about it, she tells James and Meowth, let's go. And then they proceed to not go anywhere, and they just carry on talking. Did they forget what they were doing already? Something we should never forget to do is to thank our wonderful Ace Trainer Ultra XL members, who are Bro Metapod, Purple Dragonair, Andros LaFay, Sin City Yeti, Gear Overlord, TJ the Nerd, JWatt8554, Night Angel, Blue Thunder 2021, Lucas Gates, and Kingly Gamer YT. Thank you to you lovely people for the massive support you give this channel. When Jessie mentions her secret weapon, she holds up her little compact mirror and we see James and Meowth in the reflection. But the R on James's shirt is the correct way round. Mate, can someone tell Pokemon this isn't how reflections work? That R should be backwards. Use your noodles. Meanwhile, back with Ash and friends, Brock asks if everyone would like a jelly sandwich. And you know what? At least these look like what they're supposed to be, unlike Brock's jelly donuts. Here's a direct quote from Ash after Cherry says she could become a psychic Pokemon master.
I never heard of one of those before.
Come on, Ash, mate. It's not hard, is it? What are you training to become? A Pokemon master. Now imagine one of those, but specializing in psychic type Pokemon. It's that simple. Ash Ketchum is a numpty. pass it on. Here's another direct quote from Ash after Cherry challenges him to a battle.
Okay, Cherry, let's do it.
Phrasing?
Just before the battle starts, Cherry dictates that they'll each use one Pokémon. I mean, surely that was a given since you only own one Pokémon, but sure, go off. During the battle, Pikachu uses Quick Attack, Thunderbolt, and Agility, which means he's re-taught Pikachu Agility, I guess. I wonder if he finally got rid of Thunder Shock or Thunder like an idiot. I guess we just need to wait and find out. Oh look, there's Thunder, so that's Pikachu's fourth move. Now if at any point he busts out Thunder Shock, I'm gonna have to call Ash the H word. So as we said before, in Lentown, everybody has a Psychic type Pokemon to protect them from the ghosts. And of course, in typical Pokemon fashion, Psychic types are all they have. Look, I get why they have the Psychic type Pokemon, but could they not have just had a couple of non-Psychic types as well? Like we saw Fearow flying overhead earlier. Why doesn't anybody own one of them? Or at least a Spearow? They're immune to Ghost after all. This woman's Abra is an absolute bastard, and I for one am here for it. So this guy runs into town in a mad panic after encountering what he describes as a ghost Pokemon that's immune to Psychic type attacks. Now in Generation 2, that would be quite the surprise. Although it's interesting that in the next gen we'll get Sableye, and in the gen after that we'll get Spiritomb, both of whom are ghost types that are immune to Psychic attacks. And in fact, there is one more ghost type Pokemon that is technically immune to Psychic type attacks, but not because of its type, but I'll let you guess which one that is in the comments. In a flashback, we see what looks like a giant Gengar absorb the guy's Mr. Mime's Psywave and fire it back at them. Oh, I see what's going on now. It's just got Reflect on. Just cast Dispel and you'll be able to hit it. Wait a minute. Wrong franchise. Huh, guess they're screwed. As the guy's Mr. Mime gets seemingly eaten by the giant Gengar, only one thing comes to mind. What a great idea it would be if the people of Lentown owned more than one Pokemon each. Seriously, they go out into the wild relying on only a single Pokemon? What, were they born yesterday?
Well, actually, Liam, I think you'll find that technically all new trainers start out with just one Pokemon, and you don't complain about that.
I mean, yeah, but this guy's clearly been a trainer for more than just a few days, so what's his excuse? Here's a direct quote from Brock.
Something just doesn't add up. How could a Gengar get to be that big?
Oh, come on, Brock. Do you not remember the giant Gengar from Pokemopolis? That thing was massive, and you saw it with your own eyes. Seriously, there's no way a giant Gengar should surprise you at this point. Of course, it comes as no surprise that you can use Code ACE to save money on G Fuel. G Fuel, as you all know, is a wonderful energy formula with barely any calories and zero sugar and a whole heap of wonderful flavors like the delicious Battletoad Zits juice that I'm drinking right now. And honestly, I'm gonna have to turn off the chroma keying for the moment. Just look how beautiful the Battletoads shaker is that comes with the collector box. It might be my favorite shaker that isn't called the Gary Tube. Oh, that is wonderful. And for those wondering, the flavor of Zits juice is green mango. And don't forget, you can use Code ACE, our channel's code, to support this channel while saving yourself 20% off your G Fuel order. Remember though, G Fuel is for over 18s only because it contains caffeine, and children don't need to be anywhere near caffeine. They're annoying enough as it is, and because it contains caffeine, drink it responsibly. Don't be a dickhead.
Dickhead?
Getting back to the episode, here's a direct quote from Jessie to Mr. Mime.
Still down there, clown?
Jessie, mate, you caught that Mr. Mime and you locked it in that chamber. Of course it's still there. What a daft question. As Team Rocket pedal their machine, they chant,
Gotta catch 'em all! Gotta catch 'em all!
Ugh, you guys sound like Natdexers. Please don't put us through that again. Not gonna lie, but Jessie pointing out that there's an Abra at 12 o'clock, meaning right in front of them, and Meowth replying with,
Who cares what time it is? Let's capture it!
gave me a genuine chuckle. Honestly, sometimes it is the simplest jokes that work the best. Bloody fireworks, man! For God's sake! Abra gets absolutely battered by its own psychic attack being bounced back at it by Team Rocket. But doesn't Abra resist psychic? Surely it can't have hurt that much. So when Ash and friends decided to go to the lake to find the giant Gengar, Cherry's Girafarig held her back. And when Cherry asked what the matter was and if something bad was coming, the Girafarig nodded its head to confirm this. But then my question is, what's the point in holding her back? Like, you held her back because you didn't want her to go to the lake and find the bad thing. So you simply held her up in town until the Gengar, aka the bad thing, could come to town. I don't know, mate. That doesn't sound like a great plan to me. Cherry's Girafarig is a numpty. Pass it on. So after being told that psychic type attacks have no effect on the giant Gengar, what do you think Cherry tells Girafarig to use on it? That's right, Psybeam. Oh, Christ, it's like she didn't even listen. Look, I'm all for being confident in your Pokemon, but when you're told that psychic type moves have no effect, why even try? Honestly, you'd have been better off using Stomp than Psybeam. Okay, let me walk you through this because honestly, I lost brain cells here. When Cherry's Girafarig used Psybeam, it was reflected back by the giant Gengar, and everybody was in shock at how it had been reflected back. After Team Rocket reveal themselves, James says that their Gengar is better than a real one because it has mirror eyes, to which Cherry asks,
What can that do?
Fucking magnets, how do they work?
oh, I don't know, love. Maybe reflect psychic type attacks back at you like it literally just did with your Girafarig Psybeam? Seriously, what planet is this girl on? Cherry, mate, pay attention. James even starts explaining how the mirrors work with, mate, even James is sick of this girl's BS. Here's a direct quote from James. Then we lick it right up.
Hey, phrasing!
James says that a secondary effect of their mirror technique is that it damages the Pokemon's confidence against ghost Pokemon. I mean, for most psychic types, the type disadvantage should probably do that already, mate. Cherry then gets Girafarig to use Confusion. And lo and behold, it gets bounced back at Girafarig just like all the other psychic attacks. Mate, what part of it reflects psychic type attacks is this girl not getting? Someone needs to sit this girl down and explain this to her like she's an idiot, because clearly she is. Case in point, she gets Girafarig to use Psybeam next and the same thing happens. Like, why is nobody stopping her at this point? Like, Ash and friends are just watching on as this poor girl embarrasses herself. And that is not very protagonisty. After Ash and Cherry both jump in the way of the reflected Psybeam to protect Girafarig, Ash tells Cherry to just leave it to him. Well, it's about time you actually got involved, mate. The moment you were told that psychic type moves were reflected by the Gengar, you should have stepped in with one of your non-psychic types. Apparently, our heroes are all complete morons. Pass it on. Granted, literally seconds after Ash tells her to leave things to him, Cherry just completely ignores him and tells Girafarig to use Future Sight. Well, I guess that means she's not going to leave things to Ash. So as it turns out, Cherry's not just rubbish at understanding how reflection works, she's also rubbish at following instructions. After connecting her mind to Girafarig and seeing its visions, Cherry warns Ash that Team Rocket are going to use Lick Attack. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. That's literally their Gengar robot's only attack. What else was it going to use? Leaf Blade? Girafarig uses its Confusion attack to move Pikachu out of the way of the Gengar machine's tongue. Yeah, not really how Confusion works, is it? After all, it's an attack. So really, Pikachu should be in agony right now. After Pikachu's Thunder attack blasts open Team Rocket's machine, freeing Abra and Mr. Mime, Abra teleports itself out of the smoke and onto its trainer. Wait, so it could have teleported this whole time? So why didn't it just teleport out of the machine? After Team Rocket blast off, Cherry is overjoyed that her and Girafarig were able to connect psychically. She says that must mean they're getting closer than ever. Yeah, don't get too close to your Girafarig, love. After all, you don't want deviant artists shipping you with it. Brock says the next time they see Cherry, it might be at the Johto League. Now come on, mate, let's be real. You're never seeing her again, are you? And on a similar note, Cherry turns to Girafarig and says,
We're gonna be a great team, just like they are.
And on a similar note, I couldn't care less, because you're a one and done character, mate. And on top of everything, if you go back and watch this episode, at certain points, she kind of sounds like Ralph Wiggum. So those are my WTF Moments of Pokemon Season 3, Episode 40, Sidekicks. Let me know your favorites and any that I might have missed down in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and become a member. Use code ACE for money off G Fuel, and come and join me in my live streams on this YouTube channel. But until next time, I'm Ace Trainer Liam. Keep on training. My tummy rumbled, did you hear it?